These are Soxies, honey.
Oh,
Hey,
yeah.
look. Soxy.
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 Sexy Soxies. So Alex City natives never fail to disappoint or amaze. Scott Baker is all the buzz if you weren't already. You wrote
Oh,
a fantastic article about Lake Martin during the pandemic and quarantine for New York Times.
Yes.
Tell us about it. Who are you? Of all these places you've been, why the story about Lake Martin?
First of all, I've been shooting for the Times for a couple of years. They send me on assignments for their travel section and style section usually. In the last year or so, they've sent me to Curacao, Aruba, other places in South Florida, Central Florida. And then when the pandemic hit, they stopped that feature, obviously, because people aren't traveling, and plus it just didn't seem right. You know, how do you promote going somewhere when people are stuck at home?
Correct.
So they asked me to submit travel essays from places that I had been that may be of interest to their readers. And I sent a Dropbox folder of images from Buenos Aires, from Patagonia, southern Chile, Torres del Paine National Park down there, absolutely amazing.
Ah.
This little beach town in northeast Brazil, and this little town in Alabama. So,
Little Ola's.
little Lola, a week before last, she says, hey, I want to do your shoot on Alabama. And I'm like, really? You know, my whole idea of it was that my feelings of transitioning back to Alex City, where I haven't lived for 35 years. Alabama has a definite preconception, and I think a misperception. And so for a long time, I was reluctant to really share where I was from because it immediately changed the dynamics of the conversation and sometimes proved more difficult for me to get assignments based on my origins. When the pandemic hit, I've had a house here in town. It just was logical to come back here. I'm used to going. I travel about two weeks out of a month, right?
Yes.
And so I've not been anywhere. And so I've been like, what in the world do I do? So I'm like riding around in like New Site, Alabama, or Dadeville or Jackson's Gap, and I'm like, I gotta photograph something. So that's the origin of like the cow photo. And the cow, obviously, she liked me.
Really? I don't blame you.
Yeah, I don't attract many people, but cows, yes, absolutely, they love me.
I'm sure a lot of people who've never heard or considered or thought, their eyes are open and very intrigued now
Well, you
by our
know,
area.
yeah, you know, I've received seriously no less than 50 emails from people all around the country saying, hey, I'm from a small town in Ohio, and I feel the same way. Or I'm from a small town in wherever, and not just in Alabama, but anywhere, and who had a similar experience of having moved away and been away for a long time and find themselves back in their hometown because of the pandemic and really reassessing and negotiating the past and really coming to different conclusions than perhaps what they had when they were here before.
Yeah.
And there they are again, but they're with a different set of eyes. And I think that's it with me too, that I have a different set of eyes and looking at it perhaps more open-mindedly, and then also with, as a photographer, I look for the beauty in the world.
We are actually on the south tip of River Oaks, which is a neighborhood on the north end of the lake.
Yep.
And we didn't know it, but we're staring at the island that you took that gorgeous photo at sunset.
Yeah.
So how did you shoot that? By boat, canoe, car?
I was sitting here, I'm like, well, that's my island, you know? That's the island because the tree is slanted and there's an
Yeah.
osprey nest that's there, and that shot actually shot from a boat because from my pier, I get it, but I don't get all of the island. And so I went out in the boat and got it from there.
How do we find you, Mr. Baker?
Well, you can find me on Instagram, Scott Baker Photos, Scott Baker Photography.
Got it.
Also, you can find me on Facebook and everywhere else.
I think we're very fortunate to have a world-class photographer.
I'm gonna make you my agent.
Okay. That is the point,
Yeah.
yes, I would love to be everyone's agent.
Right.
Your eye for detail must be out of control. Where did you get this?
First of all, my dad was in construction for like forever. I worked for him for a summer. That was all it took. Realized I didn't want to do that.
Okay.
But I have this appreciation for architecture, for interiors, for beauty. And so when it comes to my work, you know, I photograph hotels, resorts, and interiors, architecture. And the detail is everything because the camera picks up every
Yes.
little detail. Yeah, I've been doing it for about 10 years. I shoot for Hyatt, Hilton, Marriott, boutique hotels.
Beautiful.
So
Okay, so you are in Alex City for the
Yes.
summer.
Yes.
How can we find you? How can we use you? What would you like to do around here?
oh my gosh, truly, it's like I enjoy photographing if it's homes, real estate. I do photography of people. I like doing lifestyle-oriented photography, not like standard like posing kind of stuff. A lot of it's just capturing the moments of this time, but captured in doing an activity that you enjoy.
Yes.
Whether it's boating or golfing
Yes.
or knitting or whatever
Yes.
it may be. But I mean, it's all about capturing moments of enjoyment.
We are going to be talking about this. Our kids are going to be talking about it. We're going to talk about it. Their kids may be talking about it. You know, who knows what the outcome of all of this summer and the pandemic will be. What a great time to have a camera in front of you. Get in touch with Scott Baker. How do we
Scott
find you?
at scottbakerphotography.com. Scott at scottbakerphotography.com. Also through my Instagram at Scott Baker Photos. Facebook, Scott Baker. Call her.
Yeah.
Yeah, call you. You got my number.
I'd love to have another
Yeah.
reason to call Scott
And
Baker.
I'd love it too.
All right. Thank
been
you,
good.
friend. Okay, Scott Baker.
Yes, ma'am.
Your favorite Lake Martin memory?
Oh my gosh, which one? I'm not kidding. And I've got 40 years of memories here. I mean, I remember when we used to say, oh, I got to drive all the way down to the lake.
Y'all, it's like 10 minutes away.
Being from Alex City and coming to the lake since I was like 7 years old going to Lake Martin, it was sort of like a take for granted.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of years I didn't appreciate it, and that was one of the things about the article that I talked about is that I come here with a new set of eyes and I see the beauty because I've seen beauty elsewhere, and Lake Martin rivals all of them.
Yes. If you haven't checked out Scott Baker's article in the New York Times about quarantining here at Lake Martin, you are really missing out on something. What about times with friends?
When I was in high school, seriously, it was like there was a party at the lake every weekend. Cars would be lined up a mile on a dirt road in the thick of darkness, and you didn't have cell phones then to like shine the light.
That's right.
You only had a big lighter. Yes. When I was growing up, we would get out on the boat at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and we wouldn't come in till dark.
Okay.
And we would just like float, and we would be floating with other boats and skiing and intertubing. And at that time, it was like a real tire intertube.
Right. Are you a sunrise with your coffee on
Oh,
the
absolutely.
backpack person, or are you a Coca-Cola while you watch the sunset?
I'm always an early riser. I was like holding on to my grandmother's apron when I was 4 years old. She was up making biscuits at 4:30, and I was up with her. So I mean, that is stay with me. And so I love the quiet, just the serenity, and the water's like glass. The reflections, it's magical.
It is.
It is totally magical. I feel like I own it. You know,
Yeah.
and then, but afternoons, because of the position of our lake house, it's facing west, and so I see sunsets behind that island all the time.
Well, it sounds like you've got it made.
You know what? I am very blessed. I know that. Very fortunate.
Okay.
I get to do what I enjoy.
Well, we appreciate you sharing with us. How do we find you?
Scott at Scott Baker Photography. Instagram is Scott Baker Photos, and also on Facebook. And contact her. She'll get me. She's looking for a reason to call me.
I really am. Thank you.
You're welcome.